Hi everybody, I'm Hector Garcia. I'm an accountant and I'm not a software developer. However, I have been developing for the last couple of months this software called PlainGL.com. So you can go to PlainGL.com and see it firsthand. What you're going to see is an accounting software that was built 100% with AI. No external developers got involved. It's just me and Claude, me and ChatGPT building the application itself. Now, when you go to PlainGL.com, there's no way for you to buy it or subscribe to it. This is not meant for you to put your clients on it. If you're a small business owner, this is not meant for you to go to PlainGL.com to run your accounting. This is not meant to compete with QuickBooks, and we'll probably never be able to compete with QuickBooks. But what's the point of this software? Well, first of all, when you go to PlainGL.com, you can create your own company file down here by clicking on New Entity, and then you can start playing with it. Now, all the company files will be listed here, so I'm hoping that no one puts real accounting data here. This is just for testing. Now, the first one that shows up is the sample company, which is the one you can use to just browse, test it, see how it works. Now, you could choose the theme, so if you wanted to go dark mode or pretty mode, you can do that. So we have all sorts of different themes you can work with. You can work with whatever you want. And as I develop this software, I kind of show people how to do all these things. So the left-hand side is just for you to pick the company file you're going to be working on, create your company file, and switch back and forth. So I'm going to collapse that and stay on the company file. Now, here, the top part, here's all the different areas. We can go to dashboard. We can change the year, and you can get basically a dashboard format of top customers, recent activity, income and expenses, things that might need attention. And you could just change the date range in there. If you go to summary, you're going to have summarized data, but you're going to have basically a summary income statement, a summary balance sheet. Down here, you're going to have your AP, your AR, your income by payee, your expenses by payee, all sorted for you with high-level numbers. And of course, you could change the year, the date range of the data that you're going to be looking at. Here in the reports is where you get your formal profit and loss report, you get your formal balance sheet report, your formal trial balance report. You can also deep dive, drill down into any things inside the P&L. So for example, I want to see all the details under advertising. I just click on that 40,000 and it'll give me a detailed report that shows me every transaction that was booked in there. So you get all your basic reports. When you go into Ledger, this is where you book every transaction. All transactions are booked in debit credit format. So I come in here and I put, let's say, Google Ads, and I can just put here July expenses or something like that. Put the dollar amount, then put the debit, the expense account, advertising, and the credit would be the bank account or the credit card that I pay with. Select that in there, and then click on Add Balance Transaction, and it will add in there. Now, I'm in the sample document, which is meant to be read-only, but if you create a company file and you play with it, you will see your transactions be booked in here. You could also select which register you want to see, and then you can just essentially just click on any of these registers, and it will just show you the transactions inside that register. Again, everything in debit and credit format, that's exactly how it's booked. If you click on edit, you can edit the transaction after it's been posted, and that's in there. And that's how the reports are built. Now you can do also a formal journal entry. Just click on journal, and you can do your journal entry with multiple lines. You can book that in there, select the date, give it a reference number, add a payee if you want to, add a memo. You can do all your debits and credits, post a formal journal entry. You can export a journal entry. You can import a journal entry if you have it in an Excel format. You can do that. Then we have our chart of accounts. So here's where all my assets, liabilities, equity, income, expenses with the total dollar amounts are in there. If I click on any of these balances inside of the chart of accounts, it takes me back into the register filtered for that account. So it's all very smart. It all works as expected. If you were using any sort of accounting software, this is kind of what you expect. I added a new bank feed section where I basically can click on choose file. I can grab a CSV file I downloaded from the bank that has a bunch of transactions, and I can use that to manually load that in there and categorize income, expenses, whatever it is. I can do all my categorization from here. I could also do categorization in batch, so I can grab a couple of these in batch and all book them to one particular category and apply. And then at the end, once I'm done, ready to post, here at the bottom, I will add them to the ledger. And of course, because I'm in read-only mode, it's not going to work. But there's the bank feed. And then finally, I have an import-export section. So if you have your transactions already in debit and credit format, you can import them in here. So everything's importable. And most importantly, everything is exportable. So I can grab my entire ledger or a particular date range of the ledger, and I can download it as a bean count file or a txt file. And these are basically flat data files that you can paste into another accounting software that was built using the bean count infrastructure. We don't need to get into the details of that. This is just how it was built. Now, what is the point of me showing you this? Well, first of all, to show you that an accountant that knows nothing about programming, with a little bit of patience, with Claude or ChatGPT, you could build something that resembles your own software. Now, at the end of the day, maybe you want to build your own accounting software. Maybe you want to build your own custom solution, a CRM, a practice management, a task manager, whatever. But I encourage you, whether you're an accountant or not, to get into software programming. But what's beautiful about this project is I'm bringing people alongside the ride. So folks are inside my Reframe Academy private community. They can go into AI Academy and they can see all the recordings. So I'm recording this on July 30th. I've already done one episode. I'm going to do next week episode 2. And then through 2026, I'm going to do 6 solid episodes in which we're going to go deep into how I do all these things. And then I'm going to publish all the changes into PlainGL.com so people in the program and people in the outside world can see the evolution of these things. So I'm like super excited about what it looks like to co-build custom software with a bunch of other accountants. So if you want to be part of the community where I teach you what I'm doing and I give you access to all the source code, all the prompts, all that stuff, you can join the community. So if you go into plaingl.com and click right there where it says feedback, I'll also put the link in the description. You can go here to hectorgarcia.com/AI and you can join AI Academy. Keep in mind, I've already recorded episode 1, and next week, early August, I'll be recording episode 2, and every month we'll be doing a 2-hour live programming session. It's $75 a month. You can try one episode. If it doesn't work, you can cancel. Easy peasy. If you're not part of the academy, all you have to do is just go every month, go to plaingl.com and see all the changes that we're doing to the software. I'm also making the entire thing open source, which means right there inside that same pop-up, you can click here where it says you can download all the source code for free. So whether you're part of the academy or not, you have access to the source code. And essentially, I have everything uploaded into GitHub. I explained in the first episode what GitHub is and why we need it and all that stuff. But every single time I'll make a change, so once a month, I'm going to make a lot of changes into this app. And I show people how to make those changes. I'm going to upload the changes into GitHub, so then everybody has access to the source code. Now, what do you do with the source code? You're going to click here where it says code, and you're going to click on download zip. So you're going to download basically all these documents. You're going to download them in your computer somewhere. So you're going to download zip that downloads into your computer somewhere. Now, what you're going to do with that data. So let's go over to Claude. Now, you could do this with ChatGPT also, but I'm using Claude. I'm teaching everybody how to use Claude. You're going to go into Claude, and most of the times when you're in Claude, and this is the Claude desktop app, the Claude Cowork app that you install in your computer, you're not going to be in the home mode. You're going to be in the code mode. So you're going to go into code, and then you're going to click on this little folder here so you can add a folder, and you're going to go find the folder of that zip file you downloaded. So you're going to download the zip file. You're going to decompress it into a folder. You can put it on your desktop, whatever you want. You select that folder, you click open, and now you're working inside that folder. So that's kind of step 1. You downloaded the file, you work inside that folder. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take Claude that you're going to be working and editing this document, but you're not going to be uploading it into PlainGL. Because remember, the source code understands and assumes that this stuff is all going to be uploaded live into PlainGL. The only one that has access to plaingl.com is me. Hector Garcia is the only one that can upload stuff to PlainGL. But you can grab my source code and make your own edits. That's kind of the point of this. So you can kind of choose your own adventure, see what it looks like for you to improve software. And I want you to go through the growing pains of that process. So the first thing I'm going to do is after I downloaded that zip file and I went into Cloud Code and I connected that folder and said I'm working in that folder, I'm going to give it a very specific prompt. I just downloaded this zip file with the source code of PlainGL. However, I'm going to be working on this locally and making changes to the file, but I'm not going to be uploading it live to the web. So I need a mechanism so I can live preview all the changes that I make. That's it. That's literally the prompt you're going to make it. There's some technical aspects to the specific prompt, but what it's doing is it's going to create like a virtual server inside your computer for it to run. But that was actually the purpose of it. So by doing that, you have it go in, you have it read the files, you have understanding, get the context, understand exactly what's going on, and then it's going to say, okay, let me go ahead and go through the process of creating a live preview so you can make all the changes and work live. So when this is done, usually you should have a clickable link right there to open it, or you can open it straight in the browser. I would recommend you open it straight in the browser. That's typically the best way to go. Let's wait until it finishes up and running. It's going to say, look, I'm running a server. You can preview it live, etc., etc. And it usually will give you a link to say to open it, use this link, localhost 3000. Yours might be slightly different. So I click on that, and then I'm going to open it in the default browser. So now it's open in the browser. So I'm going to close all the tabs that I have open just to avoid any confusion. And then the URL right now says localhost 3000. Yours might do 3000, might do a different number. It doesn't matter. So now it's working locally off inside that folder that we downloaded inside your computer that's running inside Claude. So now we can make a change. So for example, I have a theme that's default, pretty, dark, America 250, and modern view. So let's say, for example, I wanted to do something psychedelic. Just throwing it out there. I'm just going to showing you firsthand how you make a change into the software and how you preview it live. And I'm also going to say, bump this up to version 1.0.28. So I'll give you those two instructions. So let me go back into Cloud Code and then say, I want to add a new theme color called psychedelic. I want you to choose what those psychedelic colors are, period. When you're done, please bump this up to the next version. Okay, very simple. That's just very simple prompting. So when you go into AI Academy with me, I'm going to go a little bit deeper into like how I prompt it, how I think about the different choice of words that I use for prompting. I will show you how to upload this into your own website. So when you create your own domain name, or you can use a temporary domain name, so you can have this live on the web, so you can collaborate with people. People can preview it, they can play with it. Right now we're working only 100% locally. So all the changes that I make are simply only working locally. And that's basically what I'm showing you. And I think most of you, again, as you get more and more interested in working with building custom apps or testing, your ability to potentially build a custom app, you're going to be working locally until you think you have something that's ready to ship or ready to show other people. Then, in the academy, I'll show you how to create your own GitHub account, how to create a Vercel hosting account, how to link them together. So while you're working in Claude, you can instantly publish, and like literally anybody can go into your domain name, their custom domain name, and they can see the exact thing that you just published. Perfect. So this finished up what it was doing. It kind of is explaining to me what colors it chose. And of course, I could change those colors afterwards. It tells me which files were changed and the fact that you can go back into the server, refresh, and be able to see the changes. So let's go back here into our browser where I have the local server that's kind of serving this. Let me just do refresh. And then I'm going to go into theme. And now I see psychedelic in there. I'm kind of interested to see what it chose. Let's click on that and look, it's super awesome. Now, is this super useful? No, like an psychedelic theme is not super useful, but it's like just very, very obvious, that a big major change happened. Some decisions were made by Claude. I can go back and say, hey, I like the purple and the blue, but I don't like the green and the yellow. Make that change. Notice that it also bumped up version 29. So that's example one. I'll give you one more example, and the rest, if you really, really want to learn how I'm going to build all these incredible amount of features into PlainGL and make them available for the public so they can build their own custom software. But most importantly, so they can learn how to build custom software. You definitely want to be part of the AI Academy. So let's say, for example, I only got a P&L, balance sheet, trial balance. So I would need an AR aging report and an AP aging report. So let's go back into Claude, and now let's give it the next prompt. I would like to now add an accounts receivable aging report and accounts payable aging report, I meant. Now, when I run those reports, I want a control mechanism so I can choose the interval of the columns. So it's not always current, 30, 60, 90, etc. It could be any custom spacing that I want to add in between those columns. Okay, and I use a specific app called WhisperFlow to narrate to my computer, and it does, like, when I make a mistake, it does sort of like auto fixes itself. And in this case, it said I want to add accounts payable agent report. It automatically removed accounts receivable. So I'm going to do receivables and payable. So let's just do that. Let me take agent out because that sounds confusing. So, and put aging, right? So it's not always perfect when you narrate it. So I would like to add an accounts receivable AP agent report. When I run these reports, I want a control mechanism so I can choose an interval. It's not always 30, 60, etc. And I'll put in parentheses, even though that's the default I want. I guess I could have used narration, but whatever. It could be any custom spacing that I can add between those columns. Okay, cool. So we'll go ahead and hit send on that, and then we'll wait for that change to happen. Now, one thing to remember is while this is working, it might ask you to double check if you're allowing Claude to do things. So usually, because it's working inside that folder, you should allow it to work in that folder. So I usually just click on always allow. Perfect. This is finished up. It also went ahead and bumped the version up one more time, so it kind of followed the sequence. It says here we got 2 new reports, AP aging, AR aging. It defaults to 30, 90, 30, 60, 90, but there's also all sorts of custom spacing that we can create. So let's see what that looks like. Let's come in here and let's refresh. Again, this is not live in PlainGL.com. This is in the local version that I show you how to download and work on it on your own. Now we have here the AR aging. So if I click on that, notice that by default, it puts everything into 30, 60, 90, aged by due date or invoice date. Although it's interestingly enough, I don't have a real big differentiator because everything that I have is, I don't have a due date or invoice date built into the software yet. So that's kind of interesting that it thought about that ahead of time. But anyway, so I can change the bucket. So I can make it, let's say 15, 30, 45, and 60 or something like that. They click apply, and then basically it changes all the buckets for me. Look at that. It's awesome. It just works great. Did exactly what I told it to do. Let's see AP aging. There we go. Let's see what the PDF looks like. Beautiful. Probably we can, as we develop this, we can work in font size and what this looks like when it's printed and all that stuff. But this is just a really, really good example of how you can use AI to build your own apps. And again, I think it's very useful when you start with a core base, with this core base of PlainGL that I'm building. And again, you will have access to every single change I make for free. It's out there. You just go into PlainGL.com, click on that feedback button, and then you should be able to click on that button there to download that. But again, if you want to learn how to do this, my thought process is not just random prompting. What happens when it breaks, when it doesn't work? You want to be part of AI Academy. Anyway, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.